Now, while Valkyr's rework has kind of sparked discussion over the last week and a half, and of course her flashy heirloom skin, Oberon's potential remains untapped, our paladin of nature's law. Where's the impact befitting a fairy king? Now, if you could rework Oberon, what would you do? I'll go over my ideas in a few minutes. Now, in my mind, I imagine that this is how Oberon took the news that he wasn't getting a rework yet. Feck it, into the fire, head first, be gone, foul world, I've had enough. Oberon has become a laughingstock, right? Players are drawing him in that chair, right? I mean, I know monarchs deserve a throne, but feck me, that's not the throne anyone wants to be sitting. Well, clearly some people want to be sitting in it, but I'm assuming that Oberon just isn't one of those people. Picture this, right? A majestic, antler-clad paladin bathed in holy light, ready to smite evil with the power of nature itself, and his crowning achievement is a passive that makes pets kinda like him. Now, we do have to remember that Oberon was added into the game back in December 2013, so he's 12 years old, and his kit feels like it's a little bit frozen in 2017, which I think was the last time he got a considerable touch-up. The game has evolved considerably since that time, and when DE teased the rework recently on the dev stream, many of us had hope. It was his turn, only for Valkyr, a Warframe whose identity boils down to angry cat with claws, to take the spotlight. Meanwhile, Oberon continues to languish in limbo, not inside him, but in it, yeah, you know what I mean, awkwardly straddling that kind of paladin druid fantasy without kind of excelling at either. So where is the holy fury that his theme deserves? And I know, paladin, druid, we know he's a paladin, but back when he was originally released, there was the kind of discussion within the community about him having so many kind of nature spells that he leaned more towards a druid than he is a paladin. But we know he's a paladin of nature's fury, and Pablo did say a few months back with Pirate Software, I think it was, in an interview that a druid is a frame that he would love to make for the game. So that kind of removes that discussion point from Oberon. Now, a fun fact, Oberon's Shakespearean namesake in the Midsummer Night's Dream was a trickster who drugged his wife to win an argument, Titania. Maybe our Oberon could use something metaphorical, kind of love potion, in order to charm DE into action and actually give him a bit of a rework as well. But look, TennoCon is right around the corner, and that means that we could see an Oberon rework being showcased at that, or even before the end of the year if he isn't shown off at TennoCon. They know, they've mentioned it multiple times over the last couple of months, they know that Oberon is one of the ones that the community has been asking for more than anything else, and he's definitely one of the Warframes that needs it the most. That's not to say there is other Warframes, Chroma and a few others, that need touch-ups as well, but Oberon should be at the top of that list. Now, I would love to see them lean more into the Fairy King Paladin theme with Oberon more than anything else, where radiation or holy fire. And you can take my suggestions just for what they are, right? Wishful thinking, because they'll never be added into the game, because us, who are, I guess, armchair developers, tend to over-embellish everything and want everything to be ridiculously overpowered. But I would like to boost his stats, especially his armor values, make him a proper paladin warrior. A high armor values, put them right up there with Valkyr, Corvex and the rest of them. Get rid of his old passive, give him a new one, Grove's Blessing, a stacking buff that grants either damage reduction or ability strength to him and allies whenever you either kill an enemy affected by radiation or when teammates stand on his hallowed ground. Or you could just have his passive being a damage reduction or lifesteal aura, and it would be better than what he has right now. Give his smite a bit of a tweak so that it deals radiation that scales with enemy max health, but it also debuffs an enemy with nature's wrath, a debuff that will reduce their damage by a certain percentage. This might help with damage scaling, but enemies marked with that nature's wrath debuff have a chance to drop a health orb. Now, for his hallowed ground, they could make it so that it actually is an enchanted grove that follows Oberon around instead of being static on the ground, while also keeping that status cleansing and dealing radiation damage to enemies inside it, which keeps that confusing element to hallowed ground. But now it also spawns briars that can tangle enemies, which reduce their aim. You could also have it so that tangled enemies will have their armor or their defenses reduced. However, that will depend on whether they completely overwork his reckoning or not. Now, for his renewal, they could have it so that casting Smite while renewal is active will throw out a much larger healing pulse that scales with power strength, while also buffing teammates' armor while under their effects. And you could also have it so that overheals will convert into overguard. Now, for his reckoning, they could change it to be something like Dagat's, where a spectral stag will will charge enemies in front of you, dealing heat and radiation damage, or because that's too much like Daggats, you could keep its lifting mechanic but have it done by radioactive vines that deal a percentage of enemy maximum health as finisher damage, but enemies that then survive that attack will be marked with a royal decree. Those marked enemies then explode on death inside a 5-meter radius, dealing radiation damage. Or you could have it so that his fort ability will summon a shade or a variation of Titania in Razor Wing form, who just zips all around the place, killing everything, basically defending her king. Again, look, this is all wishful thinking, and we all have ideas how to rework certain frames in game. I would love Oberon to just lean more into that paladin of nature aspect, and I am quite excited to see what they do with him whenever they do give him a rework, hopefully before the end of the year. Again, it would be nice to see it at TennoCon, but I doubt it. I mean, it's only kind of been brought to light in the last few weeks, especially since that dev stream with Valkyr getting the announcement that she's getting the rework before Oberon. But let me know in the comment section below how you would like to see them rework Oberon, what theme you would like them to lean into, what abilities you would like them to either tweak or completely change and add something different. By all means, let me know in the comment section. Have a great day, have a great week, and as always, thanks for watching.